what to write about. Trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist. Am I worth anything or just a discount? I don't know.
That was the great sounds of Watts with Outside on WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Preston, with my partner in crime, Long Island raised, Elm City made, EZ BlueZ is in the building. EZ BlueZ, who is blessing us again on our show? Go right ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you, it's all about the work you put in. You can start off in one particular part of the career and grow and build and transform your brand into another part. And then from there, grow and build and transform into another, into another, into another. We were honored and blessed to have him on the show before, talking about what it was just like getting involved and crowdfunding for a movie that is now on the doorsteps of being premiered at the Klein Theater. I want you to think about that. That's a theater we pass on an everyday basis. There's been incredible stuff that has happened there. There has been film festivals there. And this is a moment in your own hometown where you get to highlight your art and who you are. For that alone, we would have this man on the show. But on top of that, he's also a phenomenal human being. So I want you to put your hands together, not if you're driving. If you're driving, please keep your hands at 10 and 2. We don't need any accidents. But mentally, keep your hands together for the amazing Edwin Escobar. Brother, how have you been?
Thank you, man. I've been good, man. I'm 1 week away from the premiere, man. We started this thing in March. But we started raising money in February. In March, we're filming, and here we are about to premiere at the Klein Memorial, which was the goal. I saw you guys at the Bridgeport Film Fest.
Yeah.
And that's when my executive in charge, Sheldon, brought up the idea, and I was like, I'm intimidated. I don't even want to ask, because we asked other places, and they were like, "Oh, 2 hours will be $8,000." I'm like, "Yeah, goodbye." So it was like intimidating to all these places, and the size of 1,400-seat theater, but they're a nonprofit. They keep separated from the political, the town, even though the town does own it.
Mm-hmm.
But they made the process pretty straightforward, man. And once they gave us numbers and they really had the doors open, there was no red tape, there was no backdoor deals, there was none of the stuff that sometimes happens in this industry that's like turns you off. And Fred and Lawrence they've been more than great, and they really supportive, and they gave us a good idea of how to kind of being our first time dealing with that size of a venue. We're not event planners, I'm a creative, but with the team I have, here we are a week away from really doing it at a historical place with a real screen, the right sitting for what we're about to do, and it's going to be an exciting day.
Can't wait.
Yes.
Now, see, this is, and for those that are just tuning in and listening, we're talking about the release of your film Left, which the first time you were on the show, we were talking about, raising the money for it, raising the capital for it, and kind of the idea behind it. But now understanding and seeing you guys at the Bridgeport Film Festival, it is such a beautiful concept, and it is kind of has a similar feeling to why The Exorcist is such a scary movie, because it's based in so much reality.
Nice.
And it plays on so many incredible stigmas. And I feel that's that same type of aspect. Can you give just a little bit of a teaser, just a little rub, no tug, just a little rub, and let people truly know a little bit about, this film and, what it's like to debut it.
So the film itself is about a young man who his father, who has dementia, turns up missing from his home. They don't have like the best relationship, so he goes home, away from the big city to like an isolated home where he grew up, and then he starts to question his own reality because he's starting to face some of the things from his childhood, up to the point where he starts losing his grip on what's real and what's not, and that's what we're gonna leave until you see it. But it is based on what I assume dementia feels like, when you start losing a grip on your identity and your thoughts and your ideas, and now you don't really know what's real. So that's the overall concept of the film. It's not a documentary. It's not it doesn't talk directly about dementia per se, but it does deal with someone, a child, his dad going through it, wandering off, and another 8 characters that interact, because when you have this mental disease, it affects everybody around you, especially if you were the one that used to lead and used to be like for example, my grandmother's an inspiration for it. And she was in it. She's in the film, and she was lucid in March, and she passed away in July, and it was like a big decline. So everybody's affected by it. So it was able to finish the movie strong, but it is kind of showcasing what it might feel like to just lose your identity.
Well, first and foremost, before we go any further, condolences on the loss of your grandmother. Like
Definitely.
on a real
Thanks.
basis. Like that's
Yeah.
that's some real painful stuff right there. But as what's really interesting is they talk about how, and not, I can't even get into it because it's kind of like the M. Night
Take your
Shyamalan
time.
of
Take your
your
time.
movie. I want to talk about it, but I know that I want people to go see it first.
Yeah. It's not a lot of spoilers. It does get like you have to kind of see it. But yeah, it does make you. And again, I'm glad we accomplished the misdirection that I wanted to implement, and not too much, because then you can lose your viewer too. There just might be too lost to even stay invested. But I think we did a really good job with keeping people like, what was happening here? Wait, is that who I think it was? Or so that's the stuff that I wanted people to react like, and I think we got it. It's not a jump scare. It's not a gory slasher. It is purely suspense, psychological thriller.
I love just the scenery of it. Just where you like picked like different places where the film should be and everything. Like I know it's like all local, but like where you had it, just the scenery and just like where you changed like different parts with the actors was very impressive. What we saw at the Bridgeport Film Festival.
Thank you.
Yeah, oh definitely. You're welcome. And I just love the fact that like I don't want to give out too much of what was going on into the movie, but the whole investigative scene when they're just like seeing the whole crime area and everything like that, it was like all one room and different amount of scenes, but you really don't know it just the way you were playing with the camera. It
Right.
really good camera work was good into it. Easy, you good with us?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm
good.
fine.
It kind of felt like I was in the movie. You
Same.
were going up,
Yes.
top, around, all around
Yeah,
in circles. It
That's
was
great
really crazy
marketing,
right
guys. Great
now.
marketing.
Definitely. It really is
that's
great
what
marketing. I
that's what
felt
we're
like I
there
was in
for.
the film.
Good, good. I'm glad.
I really did.
That I was going for. But no, I was about to give away the twist ending, and
Yeah.
the censors were like, "No, delete him." Um, but
For real.
what's super, and what I loved about it is just again how real of a topic it is, and it is when we're especially going through mental health, and
Yeah.
everyone's after leaving the pandemic, everyone's focused so much more on mental health and mental health journeys, and
Of course.
we're a much nicer and more evolved society. Trust me, we are. I promise. I swear. But it's really 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 interesting where I will say the second time
Mhm.
you watch the movie, you're even more captivated because the twist that you put in there.
Mhm.
You have to rethink the entire movie.
Yes.
And that's something that I just, it totally blew me away. And I'm not just saying that because like I know you as a human. I'm
Yeah.
saying that as an actual fan of art and theater.
Appreciate
It
it.
definitely took me by surprise and made me rethink a whole lot of things. Um, and I wish I want, like, we're gonna have you on again when people have already seen the movie, and we're gonna talk all
Yes.
about it and like break
Absolutely.
it down that way. This way we can let that demon out of me. But right now I'm like, oh, I'm get
And we're
so
gonna have a
close.
Q&A that day as well. We're gonna talk
Oh,
about it.
perfect,
And
perfect.
because this is a short film, this isn't a 90-minute. This is a 25-minute film. It feels longer, I promise. We didn't want to just do the come in, watch the film, goodbye. Like the whole thing is an experience now. we got 4 hours at the spot, so we put a program together where this the first hour and a half is going to be networking, creator, and sponsor mixer. So that's and it's everybody, general admission, VIP, everybody gets to
Right.
be part of this. There's no exclusion. They and we're gonna have business to business, business to consumer, just the real networking. And it's gonna include a lot of the people that were part of the crowdfunding, part of the people that bought tickets to be here, part of the
Right.
people that sponsor businesses. So it's like a reunion of those people responsible for the film in so many little ways. So that's going to be a great reintroduction or introduction or just reunion of all those people that worked with each other before, that are directly connected to the film.
Right.
Again, whether it's from the beginning as a sponsor, location provider, all the way to the people who never got a chance to say donate, but now they're paying to come watch it, which is,
Right.
it's amazing. So that first hour is going to be very meaningful because that is what we're preaching here. We got this done with no outside resources. We don't have to we don't have to hire a New York firm to do anything. Mostly downtown businesses are sponsoring. Mostly shot in Bridgeport. The house in Bethany, of course, because it was the size and the type of house that we needed was perfect.
Mhm.
And I'm sure we had a lot more time, we would have found a location in Bridgeport. But overall, it's a very, very community based film that is going to help us show. One of the goals is to show that it is a profitable venture. So we at the business end, we really want to have that after the premiere, after the life cycle of the film, the premiere, a couple more screenings, we're gonna have a good profit and loss sheet to show the ins and outs. And as in any business, like, hey, this is what we want to do. We need to do more. It takes money, but it comes back, right? Which is
Right.
people want it. That's what really ultimately investors want to hear, and just anybody that's gonna have any kind of faith or put any eggs in any basket when it comes to creative stuff. It's
Mhm.
that is profitable or that it can make you whole, and that is not just a big financial hole that swallows money and you never see it back. Because that's
Right.
the problem with creative stuff, is like always the financial conversation is where people lose their mojo. Because me just giving out quotes, sometimes people, you can see it in their face, is like, oh man, and then they just stop, right? Even though there's so many ways now that I'm helping people to raise money. I never raised money before, like I said to you guys before.
Mhm.
So I was able to really raise a good amount of money, first time ever, using my resources, mostly Facebook, mostly people locally based. So, and I'm sharing this with people too. Like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
share that with more people that day. But like when I talk to people, when I talk to new clients or anybody that
Hmm.
wants to hire me, I'm like, look, this is the platform I use. You can raise money for your project, so you don't have to stop the conversation and the financing part,
Mhm.
or also
Hmm.
you can continue to write and develop your stories without worrying about, like, damn, I don't got it, or I don't want to really put up my life savings for
Right.
something, right? Because it's a risky thing anyway. But yeah, man, it's gonna be a great mixture of all those people involved. Then we're gonna show the film. I am working on a series. I have an episode that I'm gonna probably show a teaser and talk about it as well.
Okay.
With
Nice.
the
Cool.
actors from left. So we filmed 2 episodes before. I don't want to make any promises, but I do want to show something that they to show the actors and their other involvement and their other characters they can play. After that Q&A, where we can talk about process, all the way from crowdfunding to the scenes and
Mhm.
technique and the writing part, which I'm probably gonna start a class on just how to get off the ground and really teach yourself and fall in love with screenplay format writing, so that you can always be ready, right, for the next step. Um, and then we're gonna do a couple of minutes of deep compression, like 45 minutes after we see the film, so that we can hang out, take pictures with your favorite actor, whoever had the most impact with you.
Hmm.
Then at 5, we're gonna have a after party, main karaoke on Main, which it's right now the name is Boulevard Karaoke, right downtown Bridgeport.
Okay.
The new brand name is gonna be Karaoke on Main, but it's the same place. That's what the after party is.
Nice.
Yes,
Nice. All right.
So you got all of this and karaoke,
You
like for
can't beat
absolutely.
it.
real.
You can't beat
So
it at all.
so now obviously we could talk about the film, but let's talk about the important stuff here. What's your karaoke go to?
I don't really do karaoke like that. They don't have the Spanish mariachi songs that I know, so barely. I gotta be in Houston. Now, when I'm in Houston, they have what I want, and then and then nobody see me again. I go back to my hotel after. I just,
Oh man,
I
see,
just
I was hoping it was like
see when
Britney
I'm in
Spears
Houston,
Toxic or
I'm
something.
Oh man, he brought the
Eduardo.
hat out. He brought the
When
hat.
I'm in Houston, I'm
Yo.
Eduardo, right? For many purposes.
Only
That's
a thing we
awesome.
can talk about on the show.
Facts on that. Definitely factual on that. You did mention a series though. Is it going to be a continuation of the great piece of art that we've seen, or is it going to deal with the same concept just in different storylines for your series?
So boom. The film left also serves as a pilot, right? Now that we have to let it complete its cycle because that's a conversation whether it's an investor or we start seeing a return that says continue. There's a lot of characters. Every character in the movie has their own path, right?
Yeah, of
and
course,
they all
yeah.
deal with substance abuse, mental illness, and the gray area between those two. Then, but those need a lot more attention.
Of course. All right.
The series I'm working on, it is mental health based, but it's one-off episodes, right? I am using my cast. I'm just giving them very, very different roles. They might overlap here and there. There is some overlapping. It could be, you could say it's the same universe, but the actors are playing different people. So American Horror Story in a way.
I like that.
They
I
don't
like that a
play.
lot.
Right.
So it's kind of like you can put them in the same universe because there's the package store, the one of the who ended up being an actor in it. My alcohol deal, right? He he's one of the partners at the store, and he opened that door to us. No problem, as long as you have having insurance helps a lot, right? When you're doing production, because it really gives them peace of mind.
Yeah.
So he, we use that too. It's almost like a very recognizable part from Death. But and the series, like I said, I have 3 scripts. What I did is I wrote one for the lead character, right? It's about a guy who, he's just, can't do no good. He's just messing up a lot, and then he starts losing it because of something he did. So it's like a little bit of like schizophrenia, paranoia, that kind of mental illness. But they all go towards the suspense slash scary, right?
Right.
Then I also challenge anybody in my cast who wants to write a screenplay, 7 pages, 2 to 3 locations, so we wouldn't have to go raise money.
Right.
And then I will shoot it. We'll be partnering up in it,
Okay.
so that I can put a series, and then I'm not the only writer because it is time consuming. And for example, Maria, who plays Gina, she was the one that she never wrote a screenplay before, but she followed directions. She went and used the program, learned how to do it, which is pretty, 7 components.
Right.
And she was the first one to submit it, and is one of the first ones I filmed, aside the one I wrote. And yeah, so this series is based on mental health moment.
Okay.
Maria, for example, wrote about an actual based in real life about a relationship with one of her sons. And she was very open to talk about it. We added some scenes to give it context and not villainize him, because it is about what mental illness can do and relationship strains and stuff like that. So hers is very based in real life. We spiced it up a little bit to make it I guess more of a, is this happening or not? But it really did happen to her, and it was, you guys will see it when you see it, but it's very, very, very amazing. And then I have a third one by the special effect makeup artist who turned one of my characters into an 80-year-old.
Okay.
She wrote something crazy that
Wow.
because of the premiere, I haven't been able to shoot yet. But there's something, there's a lot. So once I have at least 5 episodes, I might do a premiere of all of them. Like now that I got a relationship at Decline, we'll do a premiere, have people show up, because it's really about pulling the community together.
Of course.
Showing it in the big screen, giving people an opportunity to be seen outside of their makeup and out of their acting rags, into like, just give them that experience of being celebrated. And then we'll put it on some streams, and we want to work on more direct to consumer ways. I always relied on Prime because it is, if they make it easy, right? They don't have no red tape, no politics. You just gotta have quality control, but they keep most of your bread. So
Right.
my partner Sheldon, he's working because he is into IT,
Okay.
website building. That's his bag. He's working on a way for me to have an easier direct to consumer for my content.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and like the VIP, the VIP ticket for left comes with access to that, to my old content, the content that they might not have seen, and it's direct. It's no going through Amazon or anything like that.
So we can get a
But
more
yeah,
understanding of your work. That's awesome.
yes,
That's really awesome,
yes,
brother.
yeah.
Before I get to easy, just break it down to me like I'm a student. What are the most important concepts when it comes to screenwriting? Treat to me like I'm just going into your class right now.
Right. Hold on. Somebody's calling me,
Oh,
and I'm
it
going to go
happens.
ahead.
It does happen.
Dun, 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 dun,
Happen to
dun,
us too.
dun. So getting people to screenwrite is a challenge.
Yeah.
So what I usually have to do is convince people that I'm not gonna read if you send it to me longhand.
Okay.
I'm like like I'm not, I'm being Hollywood, right? But not really, because I can't like I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna struggle through it. Meaning my reading, I gotta be able to read a screenplay, which is pretty much a blueprint of how you're gonna move forward. And because money and cost is what really dictates if we're gonna move forward or not. When you send it to me longhand, there's no way for me to tell you, hey, this is gonna cost you this because it's this many days.
Right.
I need a screenplay because from that I can organize it and do, and without having to charge you for the service, do a light schedule to kind of get a look of like how much is this gonna take, how much work is this gonna take, what are you not thinking about? This scene right here, you're gonna need to give it a half a day just because of what you want to accomplish. These two, so scheduling is what dictates how many days, how many hours in the day, which we try to use all of them, and that's what gives you, hey, this is the day rate, and this is how many days we need. So the challenge usually is like to get people to write. But back to your question, which is what the most important part about screenwriting is, I think it's just having a good idea of like, you remember you're telling a story. Um, the cinematography part, you can have ideas, right? And some people want to, you can do it all. Like when I write mine, I'm thinking in two ways. I'm thinking as I'm telling the story, but I'm also refining the cinematography, the action shot.
That's the part I was trying to get into. Yeah, you
Right.
answered it right for me.
As
It's
a
really hard to
writer,
get from vision to paper. Yeah, go ahead.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
from
it's extremely
paper to
hard.
vision, right? So, you gotta worry about telling a story first. Like whose story you're gonna tell, what is the conflict you're gonna show for this person, and how you're gonna make them the center of your story, not just by showing them more, but like get people to be like, what's going on with this person? And I like him, I dislike him, I wouldn't do what he's doing, or I would do exactly what he's doing, and get people to take that walk with them.
Right.
And then you got to come back and work on, more like refining your cinematography, which is okay, walking in. Me and Chris worked on we're still working on it. We kind of have to get back to auditioning, but and his is it's not a scary film, but he knew the dialogue because that's his bag, right, as a writer. And then we just went back and revisited the cinematography, like, okay, they should walk in, what's happening here, right? People just don't pop up in the kitchen, right? Like that's when I came in and came back with like, okay, comes to the door, where's wife at, or where the girl at? The girl's in this other room. So we got to make sure the dialogue specifies that it's a voiceover because you're only gonna hear them. So it gives you, it's a blueprint. So it's
Right.
but the main component is, who are you gonna tell a story or not? Are you gonna tell the story of this person and what they're about to go through? Are you catching them right before they get to like a different part of their life? Are you showing what led them to go to a different part of their life? So that's really it. Just like stop worrying about what camera I have yet. Don't worry about if I can get you actors. Don't
Right.
worry if we can put it on Prime right away. Like, do you have a story, or do you just want to do this to do it? Because a lot of people don't have anything. They have no story. They don't have a story. They can't give you a simple story. It's just, oh, this is the guy. He sells drugs, and then he gets into a shootout. Like, why is he into a shootout? Oh, I don't know. He just does. It's like,
Yeah, you gotta break it down.
Yeah, like bring some drama. Make it the last day he was gonna sell drugs, and he just happened to get into a shootout that day. Damn, that sucks for him. Like, make people feel something, right? So it's really telling a story just from the most like basic form.
And I'm not really based right now. I'm kind of like really unprofessional. I should have said 3 minutes ago, but I was listening to this great information tell me on WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven. So that was a miss on my mic. I was beyond basic. I was not even basic at all on my profession. But you said 7 pages. Now, from paper to vision, like, how long is that for a scene? Like 2 to 3 minutes, 7 pages? We talking like 30 seconds? Like, or does it vary between what you're trying to bring to the audience?
I mean, the rule of thumb, and it's not perfect, but it's pretty on point, is a minute per page. A screenplay
Okay.
page translates to about a minute. If it's cinematography heavy,
Yeah.
you just gotta shoot with that in mind, so you can always extend it. If you have a page and when you film it, you only get 40 seconds, but it was good 40 seconds, that's fine. But you don't really count. It's just a rule of thumb.
Okay.
Right?
That's
Because you
fair.
can have a 10-page script that has one location. I can probably pull that off in a day, filming wise, right? But if you have a 10-page script with 5 locations, that adds an average of 3 to 4 hours traveling. The 20 minutes here, 30 minutes there, 40 minutes there. It ends up adding up. So then you got to do a day 2, and loading and uploading. So that's why you need a screenplay, because you can create a really, really simple schedule and really lay it out on your day or the week, and it tells you you're gonna need this many days and this many things. So it does depend, but the actual writing to final screenplay, to final showing, it is roughly about a minute per page. So as for 7 to 10 pages, we aiming for 7 to 10 minutes.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
perfect sense. Definitely. Easy. I know you're turning red right now, or it could be the camera filter. So please please let everyone know what's on your mind.
No, first of all, it's definitely the camera filter. Second, no, it's just super super interesting, because like me being how do I phrase this? Me being as creatively free as I am, and someone who kind of like, I don't have a particular creative style I want to be in. I just want to create. Sitting down and listening to like the process of writing a screenplay is something that I've thought about doing 1.5 million times over. But then it's sitting down and it's formatting it, and it's understanding what is a conversation and what is a scene, and something that a lot of people would struggle with. So I'm telling you, definitely go forward with the screenwriting course. It's $59.95. This way it goes backwards and forwards. It's the same thing. It's an ambigram. It's an ambigram because of the Illuminati. All right, for real.
That too.
Could be. You got to make sure we're paying tribute. But but as you are moving forward with these next projects and different things, what is this it now? Is film your whole world, or will there be more music video aspects of it? Will there be more different sides, or is this just who you are now and we just have to deal with you?
So I want the film to become sustainable, so it can be the only thing I do. X amount of projects a year, but I'm still a freelancer. I still offer my services, whether it's coming in as director, DP, a combination, editing in some of the packages, and that includes film, but it still includes music videos, commercials, documentaries. I just finished the 8 mini series with Colorful Bridgeport, DSSD, which is the Bridgeport's like downtown this effort to revitalize. They're responsible for all the murals, all that stuff. They have a budget and they manage it to do stuff like that. So I pitched them this idea to do 8 episodes and talk about one specific thing, about each business in downtown. Not all of them, but 8 of them. And it works. So I plan on doing more stuff like that. But this is what pays the bills.
Right.
So yeah,
Mhm.
you're gonna see music videos as long as there's clients, and that
Right.
that is changing. That technology is changing a lot of that. I have
Mhm.
my niche clients, and I have my style and the way I do it, and what I provide. I have my set clientele for that. But until I'm doing like 5 shorts, right, and I know they're gonna come back, and I'm gonna be able to from there, pay my bills and continue to
Mhm.
upgrade equipment and stuff. Then I will might have to start thinking about getting someone to do the music videos.
Mm.
Which at that point it won't be that tough because I will have to use a lot of different people for different things. If I'm that busy with film, that I
Right.
will have people at hand to do it.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and people hire me because I'm directing the video and I'm part of the process. So it's hard to hand that off to anybody because that's one of the reasons
Right.
people hire me because they want
That's
to
true.
work with me.
Mhm.
But at some point,
Mhm.
film is gonna take the priority. But yeah, you will see some more music videos, and commercials. Again, I'm trying to get more stuff with municipalities. Um, the corporate world looks a little different now than it did 10 years ago.
Mm.
We got
Mhm.
millennials that are actually making decisions on who paycheck, who write the checks now. I avoided corporate for a long time because it was a bunch of dinosaurs who were
Mhm.
just not really worth dealing with for the prices they were paying. Corporate pays a little higher, but they ask you for 3 times the work, so it starts becoming sustainable. But the people that are
Right.
actually representing companies now are my age or younger, and they're a little more they're in tune with what done, how it can be done. They have ideas,
Mhm.
and then you don't have to talk to 10 people about one thing. They have a better way to delegate. So I'm getting friendlier with the corporate world, but it's still not my favorite because it's very
Right.
it's not the most creative field. Is unless you're doing commercials for high end company, and there's a big campaign. It's very straight. Talk to the camera. Here's what I gotta say, and you try to get as creative. But that's why music videos, commercials that we write from the
Mhm.
ground are more my bag.
Mm.
Right.
Okay. That's fair
Yeah.
enough. It's
That's
honesty.
awesome.
It's honest.
Now, hold on, hold on. I heard this magical word.
What
It's
was the magical
documentary.
word? Documentary.
Documentary.
Oh,
Documentary. I'm gonna pitch it on air because I have a horrible idea for that amazing documentary.
horrible
Right?
idea for an amazing documentary. Go right
You
ahead.
you heard me. You heard me. You
I
heard me.
mean,
All
look,
right.
look,
It's
look. I'm just want to make sure I heard the right thing.
all right. So I am going to be making it my mission
Hmm.
to get Shane Penguin's new album in the hands of Kevin Smith. But what I want to do is I want to document me going to his theater like every day and standing outside, holding up my phone, blasting the record over my head, dressed like Silent Bob. And obviously we'll call the right people and you get all that kind of stuff. But I think it's such a horribly amazing idea that it'll make us millions of dollars.
And you want to document that process?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Why not? I say go for it. As long as you have a treatment structure and how you want to glue it all together, that's what matters. Because that's the thing with documentary. You still got to have a
Mhm.
story.
It's true.
Right.
Um,
I agree.
it's
It's
a little
true.
more work because you have to collect footage, but you still got to put it together to have a narrative, including your voiceover and all that stuff.
Hmm.
But it all needs a story and needs to walk you through some emotional changes and um, you know, it, I wouldn't. I don't know how long you're going for. I really don't think about time. I just want to write something that has some finality
Right.
to it. But it's not. It's crazy until it works, right?
Hmm.
So original's
Exactly.
good. Original's good. Anything that's not, and this is like you're up right up your alley with your personality. So it's not a trolling attempt, right? Like so,
Right.
it's a genuine thing, like an idea. So I I would say if you want to document it, obviously a lot of it you have to do on your own. That's the good
True.
thing about
Right.
documentary work. I mean, if you watch a lot of these Netflix documentaries, they're definitely they're beautifully shot, right? So that's a plus. But for documentaries, that's not a deal breaker to me. I think it's documentary catching real stuff. You get away with having not the best footage, but it's like sometimes you
Right.
can't have someone there 24/7. You can't pay someone's rate 24/7 to maybe capture one magical moment. So phones are still good. Small cameras, the 360 cameras are pretty popular. So anything to do with documentary, I will always encourage people get it, label it so it doesn't become a nightmare later. I would say go for it, man. I would definitely
I
encourage you
support
to
you
be as
too, Easy.
crazy as you can while you have two legs.
Word, word. Well, that's the thing is, it's all like for me. I want to try to be as creative as in many different platforms as possible. It's a constant push for me. I think
Yeah.
I need the constant encouragement, and it's all from childhood trauma, but it's fine.
Oh Lord.
Um,
Most things are. Most things are.
most things are. It's just the
Yeah.
way. It's
Hey,
just the way of the world.
I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for my dad to come back with that milk, man.
Word.
Oh.
Samey. Yo, yo,
Oh.
yo. Best
Oh.
story ever. Best
Oh.
story ever. I got kids. The twins are 14, and I actually sent one of my guys up to the corner to go get milk,
I remember this.
and he looked me and Preston dead in the eyes and says, "Oh, this means I don't got to come back."
Yo.
It was
Wow.
well played. It was definitely well
Wow.
Yeah,
played.
it
But
was
Wow.
14 years old. He was quick. Whew.
Wow.
my friend
Yeah,
Easy
that's what we
talked
live in
about
now.
accidents, actually like horrible things turn into good ideas. What were some of the best accidents to happen on set or while filming? Would be like, yo, I can use that for the film. I can use that for this project. That's stuff that was not originally planned, or that you can tell.
So I mean, this project was I mean, for the amount of the big cast we had and the
Mm-hmm.
locations we had, I guess we were really really prepared that we didn't have anything too much out of control.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that was that kind of worked for us was the house location. We there was it was 18 hours of
Mm-hmm.
filming, right?
Yeah.
11 a.m. to like almost 6 a.m. the next day,
Oof.
and we the scenes were usually when you shoot per location.
Yeah.
You try to do it chronologically, but sometimes just logistics are you gotta shoot the scenes all over the place. So we started out like that, but then there was a long stretch where they were pretty chronological. We just had to keep an eye on. There was three stages to the character: shirt, beater, and then
Yeah.
and no shirt, button shirt and beater, and those were kind of
Right.
cues to where in this hierarchy of reality he was in. However, he we try to keep a clean set, and people do what they're gonna do, but there's
Of course.
sometimes
Yeah.
people them. Like I know I drink, but I can't drink when I work because I get too happy, and then everything looks good to me, and then it's like yeah, this is dope, but so I can't be good at it. So I just don't, right? So and I know I have my main actor took a real shot, and I was like, oh, I hope we don't gotta do this too much because then you drink and then you get tired and then you
Yeah.
lose the character. He didn't though. It helped, right? And it put him right in the place where he was supposed to because he was annoyed a little bit, right? I was annoyed a little bit. I was like, you're supposed to take iced tea, not the real drink. Because it was already 5 in the morning. If I only drink one
Mhm.
shot at 5 in the morning, I'm going to sleep. So
Yeah.
it helped because in watching back during, I was like, this actually works. Let's see how it looks later, and it really worked. He was losing his mind in that scene anyway.
Mm.
He was a recovering alcoholic, the character himself,
Yeah.
and he had one drink. Well, one bottle, but it's one drink.
Yeah. Yeah. We get
uh,
it.
and it put him back in a place where he didn't, which he couldn't even. It was like, am I questioning my reality, or is this the effects of alcohol again?
Mm.
Right? So it's that
Hmm.
area where like how much stuff do you ignore if you're under the influence a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Hmm.
I was annoyed because at the logistics side, I'm like, don't get drunk too happy because then you're gonna start telling jokes. It's gonna be like messing up the line. I'm like, but
Yeah.
what it did is it really put him in that place. So now he was really, you know, he was nice, but that character came right through, and it really worked. So it's not an accident. It was like if it was up to me, no one would have had no drinks because we were supposed to be working, and I know how we get. We start joking. We start not seeing our mistakes. We start thinking everything's beautiful. And then we look at the footage, and continuity starts suffering. But honestly, when he drank at the right time, he took that couple shots at the right time. Because when those scenes came and he was in that moment, he was supposed to be having second thoughts about the drink. He was on the phone with his sister that he never see, and that I started messing with the effects a little bit, making the lens a little spherical. These are all quick after effects. I don't really do a lot of that, but I wanted to show that he was questioning his time, his line. So that wasn't an accident, but it was a good thing that he went there. It worked out well, and it looks great, and it's really believable because he did have a few.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what
Yes.
Bob Ross. That's what Bob Ross calls a happy accident.
I like got my mom's happy accident.
You stole my line. I was literally going to say, and that's actually what my mom's pet name was for me.
Oh Lord, no.
Oh yeah, no, it's on now. We have crossed every barrier. No, but it's it's just so super important, as you continue to chip away at these different mental health issues and stuff like that.
Right.
You're giving it a real human face. That is so real.
It is real.
Good.
Is it because you dealing with it up close and personal as per with your grandmother, or is this you did the research? Did you
we're doing the research on
I'm
WNHH
picturing
LP
you like a library.
103.5 FM New Haven, myself,
so
Preston,
smooth.
and my partner in crime, who I just interrupted. His name is E.
That was a good one.
BlueZ. He is here with us. We got Escobar.
He's so smooth, man.
on the show. On the show. I can't say behind on the show.
On the show.
On our great show that we have on WNHH LP 103.5 FM New Haven. Go ahead, Easy. Let's do this. It's not about us.
I can't wait.
It's not about us. It's not about us, Easy.
I'm going to speak on it one day.
It's not about us. Speak on it one day, but don't speak on it today. It's not about us. It's about this man who is below us on the electronic screen. His name is Edwin Escobar.
He is above us, sir.
I mean, you know what I mean.
Right behind you.
Go. I don't want to go there. You know what I mean?
I'm right behind you.
There you go.
Oh, word.
So research wise, ideally, if we do go into a series or we go into a feature film for whatever reason, and there's a real true budget, like a Hollywood budget, right? Yeah, I would definitely consult with a well-known, not well-known, but like someone seasoned in the psychiatric community who's dealt with it. I took some freedoms because a lot of stuff we don't know, even the experts don't know, right? We know it's a physical decay. Your brain just stops making connections again, and then it has little pockets of, which is, I guess, the loops of where you get stuck and you start remembering people that are dead, right? But I got a lot of face-to-face work, like just understanding all the advice and stuff with my grandma for like 3 to 4 years since she started showing really, really bad signs. But that's why I say this is my assumption of what it must feel like, because no one comes back from that, right? Not yet.
Right.
No, you can't generate the brain, and again, once you start losing it, you lose it. And it's even for someone that has losing moments, it's hard to explain. It's just like blacking out. It's just not something. So I took liberties in what I think happens. I think you just get stuck in the past. You misfiring, and you're making connections in different places in your brain, which then triggers hey, is that Martha? Like, Martha's been dead for 10 years. Like, and then just, parents can get, when you live with them, or my grandparents, or anyone, it could be your sister, anybody. Sometimes it feels like they're just getting older and just like, rebellious, but like that's another challenge, like knowing when is the disease or when it's just age. So My grandmother used to hide eggs in the drawer, and that was 12 years ago.
Wow.
That was a sign. We missed it. We missed it like I missed the bus. Like it was just like she's getting old. I'm like, maybe, back in Colombia, we don't put eggs in the fridge.
No.
We rationalize these things, right?
Gotcha.
She would she stopped eating meat, and it wasn't because she went vegan. It was this weird thing. She would never told us she stopped eating it. She would hide it in like napkins. Like the Seinfeld episode with the mutton. She would hide it in napkins and put it away, and you'll find it in her coat. Like
What?
it'll start like,
Oh
and we
my
were like,
goodness.
"Oh, grandma, what are you doing? You're getting old." And there were seldom, and then there were not, and then it was like forgetfulness. For us, we had she had a fall that she had to have surgery, and because she had kind of dementia-ish behavior, they sat us down and said, okay, she's not gonna be the same after surgery at her age. Because she had surgery at 98. So
oh my gosh,
for a broken hip. That I look at stuff like that, like if she didn't have that fall, she would have wandered into the streets because the dementia was coming. Now the anesthesia, right? Because of the effects at her age, they were like, it's gonna speed up her dementia by 4x, like 4 times faster, right? So in my head, I'm like, damn, she would have lived a lot longer, but she would have been on dialysis by now, and then she would have been one of those people that would run off, and then you like, which, and I hope I'm not oversharing because he shared it with another interview. Sheldon's father passed away from dementia as well last year. And he did have to deal with wandering. He had to deal with police calling him too many times, like, "Hey, is this your father? Yeah, we found him in this parking lot." Stuff like that. So, I got a lot of conversations with because I was the one always talking. My mom was the main caretaker, but I'm the one that speaks English in his family. He didn't have a joke for that one. And
I don't want
He's
to
trying to be
look at his face.
respectful.
I know he was.
He's trying to be
So I got a
respectful.
lot
Like,
of
like you guys
I
be
got a
all
lot of
unprofessional and make it hard for me over here.
so I got a lot of like just real life underground experience that I didn't have to do much research. So, but there was a moment where I went to do a music video in a retirement home, and I just happened to walk by, and there was like the door was open. I'm pretty sure there's a violation in there somewhere. But the lady was like in a chair, just facing the wall. There wasn't a picture or TV or nothing there. So I'm like, she wasn't showing anything, right? But in my head, I'm like, damn, I wonder if she's reliving a really good moment, like a happy moment with her kids, the prairie somewhere, no work, just throwing rocks into a pond, or is she reliving like a terrible time in her life, abuse? Because what if that's what's on loop, right? Like you can even have a re-looping of some great, which is heaven, or have a re-loop in your head of like, because at the end of the day, whatever's in your head, whatever's happening, that's your reality. So that was like visually is what gave me the idea for the movie. I was because I was with the main actor. He was just right. He was my sidekick that day, and I was like, "Damn! Imagine you go visit somebody in the hospital, and then you can't leave. You're the one in the hospital, and then it developed into okay, it should be the son, it should be this, and I wrote it with him in mind. But yeah, this was 2022, no 2021. No, I'm sorry, 2022, about October, and I wrote it December, and then we went hit the ground running this January, March, filming, and now here we are.
Well,
Boom,
you also
boom.
all the crowdfunding, which was amazing.
Yeah.
First time, and it worked really well, man. I recommend it, highly recommend it. I lost all my little shame and like, how can I jump on people's inboxes? Because I be talking junk about people that want you to join their, master class and stuff like that. I'm like, because a lot of stuff looks predatory to me, and I never see the results. I never see nothing get done, right? And I've done crowdfunding with like the platforms you're familiar with, and there's no coaching, there's nobody helping you. It's just, unless you're dying and you need money for a coffin, it's really hard to raise money. And that's what they really use for like pity moments. And stuff like that. But in my head, I was very pessimistic at first. I was like, nobody was like, I'm gonna go ask for money from a crappy movie. I'm good. Like, I know consumers,
Right.
I know people. Like, you want me to help you do your little movie? Like, that's my living in your head and thinking. But when you lose that, like it became a popularity contest. Like the way the platform helped me set it up is like you take a picture of the person, or you take their profile picture, you put the that they helped, a big personalized thank you, and then like everything else on social media, it became about it, but also there was like I say like 2 or 3% of people donated because they saw that somebody did it before them that they knew,
Right.
which is great. I mean, they did
Yeah.
it to help. They were grateful. I think I know 100% of the people that put money in. I think I don't. I think there might have been a few strangers that I don't recognize the emails. I'm like, who's this person? And I emailed them like, thank you. I don't recognize the email. And then they were like, you're welcome. And they still didn't tell me who they were. Uh, but most of them I
That's because
know either by
they were the
face.
petty people. They were the they were people like, oh, the Joneses donated. I can't not donate because the Joneses donated, so I'm gonna donate
Yeah.
now.
So,
But
but that, you know what? That's
because
the
mess over them
psychology.
Joneses.
That's the
Yeah.
psychology of
So
this.
those were the
But
petty votes.
yeah, but they helped. That's money that went to get the locations. They went into everything, involved, insurance, catering, feeding people. But yeah, it was it worked. So once now I know that it works, I'm just waiting to finalize, and I'm gonna use it as much as I can. It works. It definitely works.
Mm.
And I'm telling
What?
everybody, go use it. Go use it. Their story is amazing too. It's a couple from Hollywood. They're
Okay.
based in Los Angeles. They have a studio and they want to help the under represented Latino and black, brown and black and brown
Uh-huh.
talent that usually gets underpaid and either too
Interesting.
stereotypical
Yeah.
roles. But because they understand what they're up against, they also have that crowdfunding
Mm-hmm.
platform, which if you're local, they hopefully you spend some of that money in their studio. Like everything else, they do collect a fee when you at the end, like 3.5, which is, I mean, it's free money, right?
Right.
So that's their incentive to make money and but help, and they're very helpful. But they will. There's a 30-day campaign, and every day there's an exercise you can push to maximize your donations.
Mm.
Like they were calling me like I owe them money. They were like, we really gotta get on the phone. Like I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do a couple of dinners and have people donate shoes. Like that don't work. Please take the phone call. I'm gonna tell you how we're gonna do it. So in not so many words, if you understand social media and
Yeah.
you catch the
Right.
algorithm, because you're not writing it, you can only assume you understand it.
Right.
But they have a good understanding on how it works, how how to talk to people about your project. And I redid the video. I had a nice, better resolution video, and she was like, "That video makes it look like you don't need the money. Take it down. Let's do something different. Grab your phone. I know you hate phones, it's in photography.
Right.
Grab your phone and talk to the people like if you were doing a lot, and that stuff works because it's more genuine.
Look
It's more
broke.
genuine,
Look
right?
broke.
So yeah, but I highly recommend it. It's called supportourstory.com.
Supportourstory.com.
Yeah.
Before we go off, because time is running very thin.
There's always
What stories do you want to tell? I mean, you went to the world of horror, you went with comedy,
right.
you did some drama. What do you want to touch? Because you seem like a man who wants to touch everything when it comes to just storytelling and
Pudding.
all that. Like,
No. I hope this doesn't come back and haunt me 12 years later.
yeah.
No. It is a man that likes to touch everything. And I say
Oh
everything.
my goodness! Yo, hold on.
But not in a
Hold on.
Weinstein way.
Not,
But
not,
not in
not,
a
not in that kind of
Weinstein
way.
way.
No.
I like to
not
touch on a lot.
on.
No.
Oh
So
God, no. I'm just
Hold-
shutting up. This answer is yours.
so
I'm not.
so I do have, like, as far as me writing it, I definitely have,
Yeah.
I think my niche is gonna definitely stay with I like, my least favorite genre is suspense and scary because it's so repetitive, it's cookie cutter. And again, there's always the kid with the family that just moved into a house in Connecticut, and the kid sees things and for some reason wants to make friends with these things, and no one leaves or moves out after. Like I'm leaving if I see some. So it's not relatable to me, and it's always either the demonic or paranormal. I have my reservations on what really is like out of our realm, and it's a lot of nonsense. I don't buy into that heavy, and it just doesn't scare me. It doesn't make me question anything. It's just like, oh, where are the jump scares? Oh, that was dope. All right, done.
Yeah.
So because of that, I wanted to do something, and I wanted to really stay on mental illness, substance abuse, and everything in between, because they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So again, you can be living a nightmare in your head, and no one would know. Your reality is your reality. I want to tell those stories not from the outside, but from the inside of the person's head, so people can at least get an idea. Like even if I was to walk in, say, Easy's shoes, he's been conditioned to be who he is today through his life experience.
Right.
He's learned to deal with his memories, traumas. So it's easy, no pun intended. But if I was to have to be in his head, I might jump off a building. I'm just assuming, not because I know anything, but because it's just your own, right?
Right.
And that's what happens with mental illness. You don't own your own, like your memories can fail you. You can actually start creating traumas that weren't there, but they have the same effect physiologically on your stress levels, your hormones. Like this has real effects in the physical world. And your brain is a physical thing. It's just we don't understand it fully. Like as much as we know AI and all that, like how this is still the most the fastest computer in the world is your brain, but it can lie to you, right? So that's the thing that was fascinating to me. It's like instead of exploring infinity from 0 to infinity,
right?
I want to explore the infinity between 0 and 1. It's always going to be the fraction.
Right.
It's in you, right? So if you're not right, you might be living in a nightmare, because I often make this joke. I'm like, in my head, I just made a movie and I'm about to premiere it, and I'm talking to people. People care about what I'm doing, but what if in real life I'm in a padded room banging my head in a window?
Right.
I wouldn't know that. So we only know the present. So this whole life we think is there, it might be just made up, and we might be in a loop of thinking that you have this linear life. So you start digging into that. That's way more interesting than the ghosts, or anything like that. And again, I'm not taking it away from like people that take paranormal serious, because that you have commercial versions of these things, and then you have the reality. My grandmother told me stories that are like crazy to me.
Unfortunately, the reality is we got cut off. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. But
maybe that's great marketing right there. They're like,
it is great marketing. And speaking of great marketing, before we go off, promote the event. This is going to be the first show of 2024. This is all yours, so we can get this whole thing going for you. We appreciate you. We appreciate your time. And we want more shows like this, man. We love having you on. So go ahead. Promote left for the first weekend of 2024. Go right ahead. This time is yours.
Yes. January 7th at the Klein Memorial Auditorium. 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. is the official premiere of Left. A little bit more content we're going to share, networking, a mixer, and just come see the community that was responsible for all of this. January 7th.
Definitely. Edwin Escobar, appreciate you for having us
on the show.
For having you on the show. Myself, Preston, guys. And my partner in crime. Definitely. EZ BlueZ.
Peace.
Wondering what to write about, trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist, am I worth anything or just a scout? I don't know.